Greetings, everyone. My name is Reese, and I work for CoreLogic, specializing in Matrix. And today I'm going to give you all an overview of the Matrix MLS platform. This platform allows realtors to input, edit, view, and share listings along with several other features. But before we jump into that, I would like to give you all some background information pertaining to the GSREIN MLS. This is the Gulf South Real Estate Information Network, GSREIN for short. We are the largest MLS in Louisiana with over 5,500 members, 900 of which are broker offices. The vice president is Rosemary Scardina, and she can be reached at rosemary@nomar.org. The GSREIN board is wholly owned by Nomar and is governed by its own directors. The board of directors of GSREIN are active realtor members like you that have been elected by the membership each year and dedicate their time to the board. GSREIN covers a 10-parish area, which includes Jefferson, Orleans, St. Bernard, Plaquemines, St. James, St. John, St. Charles, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, and Washington. Being a licensed Louisiana realtor means you can list or sell properties anywhere in Louisiana. But if you list a property, it will only appear on this board's MLS, even if it's in a different part of the state, such as Lake Charles. All listings that are residential, multifamily, vacant land, and lease property types are pulled every 15 minutes by Realtor.com for national exposure. The board has MLS rules and regulations that need to be followed to ensure a cohesive system and so that you can avoid fines. All have been decided on by your GSREIN board at some point in time. Here are a few that I would like to mention. All listings must be entered into the MLS within 3 business days of broker's signature on a listing agreement, excluding weekends and holidays, unless the listings are entered into another MLS service, whereby they must then be entered into GSREIN within 1 hour of entry into another MLS service. Any change in list price should be entered into the MLS within 1 business day of all required signatures, excluding weekends and holidays. If an offer has been accepted on a property, the status must be changed accordingly from active to either under contract, open predication, or pending continue to show within 1 business day, excluding weekends and holidays. Properties that have been sold must go under sold status within 1 business day, excluding weekends and holidays. Photos must be entered into an incomplete listing before the listing can be made active. Once again, photos must be entered into an incomplete listing before the listings can be made active. Most of you should have received a small white card upon signing. On this card is your MLS public ID or user ID and password. Please keep your password private. Do not give this information to anyone else, nor leave your MLS login open on a public or office computer for someone else to use. If this occurs, you could be fined $500 and be suspended from the MLS. If you did not receive a card today, you can see someone in membership after orientation to obtain one. You are now part of a 3-tier realtor association system. Nationally, you have NAR, which stands for National Association of Realtors. On the state level, you have LRA, which stands for Louisiana Realtors Association. Locally, you have NOMAR, which stands for New Orleans Metropolitan Association of Realtors. On your card that I mentioned earlier, you will find a NRDS number, which stands for National Realtor Database System. This identifies you as a member of NAR, which is the largest trade association in the world with over 1 million members. If you check out the realtor.org website, you can see all of the discounts available to NAR members. How to access Matrix. The first thing you would need to do to access Matrix is open up your internet browser of choice. Once you open up the internet browser, you would need to log into the Clarity dashboard. The Clarity dashboard is a dashboard that gives you all access to all of the different programs that Nomar GSREIN offers. Now, the best thing about the Clarity dashboard is you only need 1 login credential to access all of those programs. Once you open up the browser, simply go to the URL field and type in https://GSREIN, GSREIN.net/IDP/login. Once you log into the Clarity dashboard, you'll be redirected here. This is the actual dashboard. If you look over to the right-hand side where it says news and events, underneath it says balances. If you see any balances there, that pertains to your MLS dues and association dues. If you have a balance there, you can pay it there by clicking on pay. If you look to the left, you'll see where it says MLS Essential Apps. Below that, it says Enhanced MLS Apps. And then you have Industry Resources, along with several other little apps you can go to. So to get to Matrix, you would need to go via Essential MLS Apps and simply click on CoreLogic Matrix. Once you click on that, it's going to bring you here, which is the Matrix homepage. How to create a contact in Matrix. The first thing you will need to do is hover over My Matrix. When you hover over My Matrix, you'll get a drop down with all of these different locations you can go to, which is basically different features in Matrix. Well, in this scenario, you would need to click on Contacts. When you click on Contacts, look at the top right where it says Add, simply click it. And when you get into this section, all you need to do is fill in the fields that's highlighted in yellow. First name, last name, email address. If you want to put all of the other information in, no problem, go right ahead. Once you're done, scroll down to the bottom and simply click Save. That's all you would need to do to create a contact in Matrix. How to start a listing search. So the first thing you would need to do to start a listing search is hover over Search at the top of Matrix. Hover over it, no need to click on it. When you hover over Search, you'll receive a drop down. Via this drop down, you'll see different property type searches. You have residential, multifamily, vacant land, commercial, lease, and cross property. Cross property pertains to all property types. So if you wanted to do a search that included residential properties and multifamily all in one search, you would need to go to the cross property route and then select those individual property types that you would like to be included within this search. So what we're going to do is do residential quick. Always do residential quick. If you do create your own, you will have to start from scratch. I'll briefly show you. So if you do create your own, this is all you have to work with. If you do quick, all of the defaulted fields will all automatically be there for you. So save yourself some time and work. If you need any additional fields, then you can simply add an additional field, which I will show you how shortly. All righty, so at the top left, you'll see the status criteria field section. You have active, pending, continue to show, leased, non-listed, sold or leased, open predication, sold, under contract, withdrawn, expired, and terminated. To the right of that, you'll see a field where you can actually input the time range. You can either do a day range, such as 0 to 7 within the last week. You can also do a date range. If you click on the calendar to the right, you can specify a start date, an end date, and then you hit OK. Once you use this calendar for the first time, you'll see how the dates are actually formatted. It's a 2-digit month / 2-digit day / 4-digit year. Then you can put a hyphen or a dash to put the end date, okay? So once you know how the dates are formatted, no need to click on the calendar. Just simply type it in. Next, you have dwelling type. Now, keep in mind, we're doing a residential property type search. So each individual property type search has their own dwelling types or subcategories, okay? So residential property type searches consist of condominiums, single family detached, single family attached, which will be a townhome, and then you have single family garden patio homes. Always pay attention to the R and the not. Sometimes you'll see and, or, and not underneath a criteria field. Okay. So whenever you have R, it basically means this or that, okay? Now, you notice that it only let me select one at a time. So to select multiple, if you're on a Windows operating system, hold down Control, and then you can select multiple. And you deselect the exact same way. Hold down Control and then deselect. If you're on a Mac operating system, you hold down Command, okay? So if I choose not, whatever I select, that's what I'm not going to get, and I'll basically get everything else. If you do not select anything, you'll receive all of the above, okay? If you ever see the little background is clear white like this, that means you have nothing selected, meaning all the above. If you see a little light blue tint, then that means that you have at least one criteria added, okay, within that field selection. So let's deselect. Next, you have condition, which consists of new, excellent, very good, average, fair, and poor. These conditions actually have definitions. If you ever want to know how to use a field on the criteria page or what's the definitions in this scenario, you can either one, hover over the question mark to the right of the field, or two, you can click on it. It's going to open up in a little window and explain. Yeah. It's always good to know the definitions for these conditions, especially when you're doing comps, when you're doing CMAs. I actually teach that in Matrix 2 Part 1. So I highly recommend everyone take that course. When you have fields such as age, also fields such as, let's go over to the top right, price, bedrooms, full baths, half baths, total baths, approximate living area. All of those fields that are open and you have to type in a digit value, they use three different tools: the plus for more, the minus sign for less, and a dash or hyphen for a range, and I'll show you. So let's go back over here to the age field. So let's just say you wanted to do a search for a property that was between, I'll say 10 to 20 years of age, right? Just making up one. So you can do that like this, 10-20. That's going to be 10 years to 20 years of age. Or if you wanted to do up to 20 years, you can do 0-20, or you can do 20 years or less, which is 20 with the minus sign. If you wanted 20 years or more, you would do 20 plus, okay? That's how you would do that. Also, you can always go back to the question mark and it's going to show you if you ever forget this information, okay? The same thing applies for the bedrooms, baths, half baths, total baths, approximate living area, and the price. So up here at the price, let me show you how to use this field. So you see, the first thing I would need to point out to you all is the thousands that's checked off right here. So what that basically says is when you're inputting a dollar value, you do not have to put the extra zeros for the thousands. This is how you would use this field. If you wanted to do a search from 100,000 to 200,000, you would simply input 100-200. That's going to signify 100,000 to 200,000. If you wanted to do 200,000 or less, do 200 minus for 200 or less. If you wanted to do 200 or more, you would do 200 plus for 200 or more, okay? And that's 200,000. Now, if you're doing a lease property type search, yes, leases have their own property type search. Hover over search and simply click lease quick, okay? When you go to a lease property type search, always deselect the thousands, because if your client was looking for a property, a rental property from, let's just say, a price range of $1,200 to $1,500, if you inputted that with the thousands checked off, that would be more like 1.2 million to 1.5 million. And I'm pretty sure they're not trying to pay that as far as rent. If they can afford that, I'm pretty sure they would rather buy a home, okay? So just be mindful of that. Let's scroll down. All of the other fields are pretty much the same. We'll get to that location section, which is this little center section last. Let's scroll down. Okay, here's a different type of field right here where it says pool type. This one is a little bit different. So I want to show you all how to use these different types of fields. They're pretty much all similar. It's really like just three different types of fields, but this one is different from all of them. So pool type, you have above ground, you have community, you have heated solar, you have in-ground, none, and saltwater. Notice at the bottom you have and, you also have or. You do not have a not. So let me show you how to use the pool type field. If you want something, simply click it one time. It's going to put a check in the box. If you do not want something, click it twice. That's your not feature. And let's just say you were moving fast and you accidentally click one of the boxes. So if you click it 3 times, it's going to clear it out. So 1 for a check, that's what I want. 2 if I don't want it, and 3 to clear it out, okay? That's how you use that field. So whenever you're inputting criteria to a listing search, always pay attention to your matches at the bottom left-hand corner, okay? Always, because all it takes is one criteria field to throw the whole results off, okay? You can literally go from 5,000 plus to 0. And if you do that, you need to know exactly what caused it. You don't want to put all of the information in, then at the very end, you look at the results and you see 0. Now you're going to have to hit clear right here and start all over when you could have been mindful and saw, hey, this one field is what caused that. Let me take that information out. It's easier to backtrack that way, okay? So if you look further, you'll see where it says additional fields. This is how you add and remove any field that's not on the actual criteria page by default. So to add a field, you're going to simply click right here where it says add/remove. If you've never added a field, you won't see an option to remove it. It will just say, so click on that for me. Let it load up. All right. So the goal here is to select from the available fields column, which is over here to the top left. And you want to make that selection move itself over to the selected fields column, which is to the right. Anything you see via selected fields means you already have it. Okay, that's what it means. You already have it. So if you know what you're looking for, you do not have to scroll through all of these options. You can simply type in right here where it's at search. Let's just say I wanted stories, even though I have it. Watch what happens. Just start typing it in. There you go right there. And you have two options to add. You can either click it one time and then hit add, or you can double click it and it's going to. Now watch what happens when you already have the field on your criteria page. Look what it says. It says stories was not added because it is either on the search page or was already one of your frequently used fields. Okay. Also, let me try one of these other ones that I don't have. Tennis court number. Okay. So I'm going to click it one time. I'm going to hit add. Voila. Whenever you add something new to the additional fields, it will always be the last field on the criteria page. If you ever want to make that more relevant and bring it back to the top, you can just highlight it and use the up and down right here. So I will just simply go up until I see fit, okay? If you want to remove that, all you do is the exact same thing, but in reverse. So start on the selected fields column, and you can either click it one time and hit remove, or you can just double click it. It's going to remove itself. It's that simple. Once you get to the bottom left-hand corner where it says back, you can go back to the criteria page. The reason I pointed that out is because when you're doing a listing search, you never want to use the back and forth on the actual browser because it will bring you back, it will bring you forward, but it will delete all of your search criteria. You don't want to have to go through that, okay? Please avoid that scenario from playing out. So remember, always use the back button that Matrix gives you, okay? So I'm going to hit back. Perfect. We can pick up where we left off at. I do want to show you how to use these two fields just in case you run into this little issue. When you're doing a public remarks search or an agent remarks search, basically saying public remarks is going to be information that you're disclosing to the public as a whole, agents and the public. Agent remarks is going to be information you're only disclosing to the realtors, okay? They will only see that. But regardless, when you're using these fields, you always have to start off with an asterisk. That's shift number 8, which is the star. The reason why is because 9 out of 10, when you're looking at the public remarks or agent remarks, it's always at least a sentence, sometimes a paragraph, okay? So you do not know where the information that you're looking for is going to be located within that sentence or paragraph. So the asterisk basically says, hey, I do not know what this information is going to be. So if you don't know where it starts at, you're going to have to put the asterisk first, type in what you're looking for. Let's just say I want hardwood floors. And keep in mind, you would use this field whenever you're looking for a criteria that they don't have an option for in Matrix already. So you would search based upon how you think that realtor would word this information when they listed the listing. So I'm going to do hardwood. And I'm going to close it with an asterisk because I don't know where this is going to start or end in a sentence or a paragraph, okay? And as you can see, I have 15 matches. Always look at your matches when you do this because you want to know if you did it right. And it's always best to use those fields first because you don't want to put this field last and throw off your results and think that you did something wrong when in actuality, they just don't have any results based upon the mixture of the criteria that you have together. So always start using this field first. If you see matches, then you did something right. And then from there, you can refine down, okay? You can add more criteria. If you do not want a field, or you do not want this information within the public remarks or agent remarks, this is your not feature. Simply put an exclamation point first behind the asterisk, and you'll see right here. That's the not feature. You also have an R feature. After the asterisk that you ended with, put a comma, and then you can type on further, whatever else you want in there, okay? That's all you're doing is separating with a comma, and then you continue on with the next. All righty. So now let's get down to the location section, which is the center column. So you have the basics, you have state, you have parish, city, zip code, subdivision, right? So these are pretty simple. So you select the state you want. You don't have to add everything. You can do one or the other, honestly. If you want a parish, this is how you do it. Same thing that applies for the city, zip code, and subdivision. So if you want something, type it in. Now watch what happens if I choose not to select this from the dropdown or hit enter once I type it in. It deletes itself. So you have to either click it from the dropdown or hit enter when you type it in fully. If you don't see an option to remove it, then it has not been added. That's what you want. You see how you have this little X over here? That's what you want. You can either hit enter or you can select it from the dropdown, okay? And just in case you were wondering, yes, you can add multiple options here. You can add multiple criteria to that individual field. Same thing with cities, zip code, subdivisions. The sky's the limit. Add as many as you like, okay? And just remember, if you cannot remove it, you have not added it. Okay, let's move on. You have city, which works the exact same way. Same thing with zip code. Works the same way. Right, and subdivision as well. So let's remove that information and let's move up. So next you have this little section here where you can put the emphasis on a particular property address, or you can put it on a particular street. That's what I like to use this for more than anything. Okay, if you want to put the emphasis on the actual property address, I highly recommend you just use the speed bar. It's also, if you have an MLS number to a listing already, just go to the speed bar right here, which is your search engine that allows you to search for listings via two ways. One, the MLS number or numbers. Yes, you can do more than one MLS number. Type in the first, space, and then you just continue on. And I'm making up numbers, by the way. That's how you would do it using the MLS numbers. You can also do it by the address, but only put in the street number and street name. Don't put any pre-directions, don't put any suffix, okay? So if it was 3645 North Claiborne Avenue, you would only put 3645 Claiborne, okay? That's when you're using the speed bar. So back to this little section. So let's just say I wanted to put the emphasis on Apollo Drive and Riverside Drive, which are two streets in Metairie. Type it in. You can add more, up to about 7 or 8 different rows. So that's about 7, 8 different streets you can put emphasis on. Riverside Drive. Alrighty, so what that basically says is, hey, if the listings are not on these streets, don't show it in my results. That's basically what that means. And now I'm going to deselect and take that out. Once again, you want the criteria field to be white, letting you know that nothing has been entered. There we go. Perfect. Let's move up one. Next, we have the within the range feature. So this is basically going to say within how many miles of the subject property. So within blank, this is where you would put the mile radius, okay? You can either type it in or you can use the drop down and select some of the default ones. So let's just say 1 mile from the No More building, which is 3645 North I-10 Service Road in Metairie, Louisiana. So I'm going to go here and start typing it in. 3645 North. Voila. Perfect. So when you see it says, did you mean? If that's the correct address, you always have to select this for it to actually register in the system. Okay, look where it says map search, no map selected. Now watch what happens when I click did you mean. Map area selected. Let's go to the map and see what just happened. So you can get to the map 3 ways. 1, you can click right here where it says map search. 2, you can do map at the top right. And 3, you can do map right here at the bottom left hand. So let's just click map search right here. Let it load up. Voila. As you can see, it made a perfect radius, perfect little circle. from the starting point, which is this little red marker, this red little circle, that's your subject property location. And it did a 1 mile even radius, north, south, east, west from that subject property. You're only going to receive results for listings that fall within the shape that the system created for you, okay? So this is the shortcut to using the map. I'm gonna go back and show you the manual way, okay? So once again, when you're doing a search, you never use the back and forward button, okay? In this scenario, you would use either criteria to get back to the criteria page. If you want to go to the results, click on results, as you can see. If you want to get back to the map, click the map tab. This is how you go back and forth, okay? So now I'm going to hit clear map, and I'm going to show you how to use the map the manual way without the shortcut. Let's go to the map. Now keep in mind, you may be in New Mexico somewhere when you first go there, so you would need to reposition the map. Before we reposition the map, let me explain what you're looking at right now. When you see these little bubbles with a number highlighted right over it, such as this one where it says 32 and this one says 44, we're doing a listing search right now. So this is basically telling you, one, you're zoomed out too much. Two, in this little vicinity right here, you have 44 listings that fit your search criteria. Over here in this proximity, you have 32 listings that fit your search criteria. If you zoom in using the plus, or zoom out using the minus, you can see more or less, right? The more you zoom in, the more information you see. The more you zoom out, the less information you see, okay? So what we're going to do is zoom in so you can see how it looks when everything disperses into individual listings. When you see little houses like this with a number 2 or 3, it's basically saying, hey, if you zoom in more, you'll see that that's actually 2 listings or 3 listings that fit your search criteria. They're literally neighbors. So if you zoom out too far, it looks like it's the same property, but when you zoom in, you'll see they're like right next to each other. All of these different houses, little icons, signify listings. And then they have color codes, which signifies a certain status. So green means active, orange means pending, and red means sold, okay? So what I'm going to do now is show you all how to use the 4 drawing tools to create your shapes, okay? So the first one, if you hover over it, it'll say radius, click it, move off, should be like a little orange color. Now it's time to go to the map. Go to the map. Do not click on any of the houses because it's going to give you that information. You don't want to do that. Go next to it, left click, hold, and just drag out to whatever mile radius you want. If you want a perfect half mile, stop at 0.5, and voila, there you have it, okay? Also, if you would like to make this shape larger or smaller, but keep it in the same spot, go to the dark blue outer layer, left click, hold. See how it turns into a little finger with a little gray marker? Drag out, left click, hold, drag in. Once you're ready to lock it in, just let it go. That's all you have to do. And you'll always see a reflection of the results at the top left when you're on the map, okay? Also, let's just say the shape is the perfect size, but it's in the wrong location. Let's say you need to move it north, south, east, or west. All you do is go to the little red circle right here in the middle, left click, hold, and just drag it and drop it wherever you want it to go. That's all you're doing, literally. Also, let's just say you have one of those clients that say, hey, I love New Orleans and the surrounding areas, but there's this one particular neighborhood in Metairie or New Orleans that I don't really care for. Could you please not send me listings in that location, but everywhere else? Yes, you can do that in the system via the map. When you make the shape and you see this little light blue tint, that means it's going to include. To exclude, you would simply click right here, the little red circle, and you can click right here where it says exclude. And when it excludes something, it's going to be like a little light red color, okay? And you notice how all the listings results showed up outside of the shape but not in the shape, okay? And then last but not least for this shape, let me show you how to delete it. You can either one, hover or click the little red circle right here, the little small one, and click delete shape. Or 2, you can always use this eraser at the top, but be careful with that one because that's delete all. You may have 5, 6, 7 different shapes. Yes, you can have multiple shapes, all different types. You don't have to be limited to one shape or one drawing tool, okay? But if you use this eraser, it's going to remove all of them. So make sure that's what you want before you use it. Next, we have the rectangle. So this one is basically going to make a rectangle or a square. Go to the map, left click, hold. You can go across first, down first, it doesn't matter. Just make the shape. Once you let it go, it's going to lock in and show you your results for everything that falls within the shape. You can also do the same features. You can exclude, Go back to include. You can make adjustments. And everyone saw what I just did. If you go to the map without clicking any of the drawing tools, and you see how it has a little right hand, if you do a left click hold, you can move around however you see fit using the motion pad, your mouse, whatever tool you're using on your device at the time. I'm using the motion pad right now. Okay, just left click hold and move it however you see fit. So let's bring it in some. And there you go. Okay, it's that simple. Next, we're going to do the polygon. This is my all-time favorite because I like flexibility. This one, you have to be patient. Once you be patient and you learn how to master it, then you can go as fast as you want. But it's pretty simple. You just have to learn how to use it first before you go too fast. So this one, left-click release. You're just making points. Left-click release. Okay? Do not left-click hold. You left-click hold, that's something you would do if you're trying to reposition the map while still making a shape. So left-click, let it go. You're just making points. All you're doing. Wherever you start, that's where you finish. And this shape that I'm making makes no sense whatsoever because I'm not trying to make sense with it. I'm just showing you the drawing tool. And that's where I started. So that's where I'm going to finish. All right. So now you can also include same features. Okay. You can also, let's just say you left something out. You can do the same thing that you did with other ones, and you can drag it out, or you can drag it in, okay? And that's the free, that's actually the connect the dots polygon. We also have a freehand polygon. I'm gonna show you that one next. This one would be for those users who are pretty proficient with their mouse, okay? This one, you left click hold and just make the shape. And wherever you start, that's where you finish. Voila. That's simple. All right. And last but not least, you have the layers, which basically allows you all to add certain overlays to the map. When you click the layer icon, if you see where it says zoom in red, it's basically saying any option down here, via this drop down that's highlighted in red, you need to zoom in before you can activate it. Okay. So as you can see, I can't do parcel or flood zones. I have to zoom in, and now I should be able to do it. Voila. And that's your femur flood map overlay, by the way. Okay. And you can just deselect it to remove it. And there you have it. Also, you can change the map view. This is the standard map view. You can also do the satellite, which is more popular if you're dealing with like terrain or something like that in a rural area. Go back to what it was. I like this one better, actually. All righty, so let's go back to the criteria page, because once we go to the results, I'm going to show you all how to do the save searches and auto emails. So let me elaborate on that first. What is a save search? A save search is exactly what it sounds like. You generated a search, you went to the search tab, selected your property type search. It brought you to the criteria page, which is what you see right now. You inputted your criteria and you simply click results. That's a search. Then from that point on, you're going to save it so you can reference back to it whenever you would like to. So it's not going to incorporate any emails going out. It's just saving it for your benefit, okay? Then the next thing you have is an auto email, which is also a save search, but the auto email actually sends out emails to your client. So for starters, let's just say you had 50 results, right? 50 matches. So when you go to the results and you convert this into an auto email, it will send out the initial 50 results or however many results you have for your search. And from that point on, if any listing hits the market, that fit that same search criteria, it would automatically go to your client. So it acts on its own. That's why it's called an auto email. It acts on its own. It sends out the emails automatically. All you have to do is tell the system what your client or what you're interested in, okay? So I'll show you how to do those. But before we do that, I need to give you some insights on criteria for auto emails. Whenever you do an auto email, make sure your matches never exceed 250. If this goes over 250, when you get to the results tab, or should I say the results page, and you go to where it says save to do an auto email, it's going to be grayed out because that's too many listings. You cannot send over 250 listings to a client at one time via an auto email. You can do it via a regular email, which is a direct or manual email, which is basically when you do the search, you generate the results, and you either cherry pick or just send all of the results to the client. You can do it that way, but not for an auto email if it exceeds 250, okay? So I'm gonna just briefly go in here and put some information just to get my matches down to 250 or less. Just some random stuff, you know. Let's add a city. Perfect, we're in business. So I'm gonna hit results. You can do results at the bottom left, or you can do it top right. It does not matter, the end result will be the same. All right. So now we're on the results page for the search. Send a manual or direct email. All you have to do is start the search, generate the results, and click whatever listings you would need to send to your client. Check the box to the left. This little box up here is to select all for each individual page. Not all of the results. Look right here, saying 1 through 25 of 87. Check 25 because it's only giving me what I have on this page. If you want more than 25 results on the page, right here where it says display to the right at number of pages, number of listings per page, you can go up to 100. You can do as few as 10, okay? But by default, it'll be 25. If you want all the listings as a collective, regardless to what page, hit all right here. Once again, if you want to do just pages, you can either do here or you can do page right here. And to deselect all, simply hit none. It's that simple. So let's just say I want to send these first 25, right? I'm going to do actions at the bottom left. Then I'm going to do email via actions. Click it. From here, you just fill out the basic information, put your recipient. So add whoever you want. I'll send it to myself. Mr. Mission Impossible. If you want to carbon copy someone, simply add their email address there. Also, if you want to send a copy of this to yourself, you do not have to put your email address right there. Simply check off BCC, which stands for blind carbon copy, and you'll receive a copy of every email that goes to your client. Add a subject, add a body, and hit send. That's all you have to do. Let me just add something right here. I show you all how to set up your email signature in Matrix 1 Part 3, by the way. So come to class and you can definitely learn way more. So we're going to hit send right here. Look for your confirmation at the top left underneath the GSREIN logo. Voila, there you have it. You're in business. Email sent to Mr. Mission Impossible. All righty. So that's how you do a direct email. So what's happening is when you do it this way, you're basically sending your client an email with a link to the portal. The portal is basically their client-friendly version of Matrix, okay? They don't have the access level that you all have. They have a client-friendly version of Matrix, which is called the portal, and our portal is called One Home. So whenever you see or hear anything in regards to One Home, just know that pertains to the portal. Also, I'll show you all how to print and email PDFs, which I like to call screenshots, right? So I'm just going to do one listing for this example, actions, print. So from here, all you do is select the display that you would like to print. If it's for a client, I highly recommend you go with a client-friendly version. You'll see client in front of it to make sure you don't have any confidential information. Too much information can be detrimental. You don't want them to see who's the listing agent. You also don't want them to see their contact information or the commission, okay? They don't need to know all of that. So be mindful as far as which display you select. Over here at the top right, you can add your header and footer if you have it set up. If it's not set up, you won't have that option, but I'll also teach you all how to do that in Matrix 1 Part 3, okay? Come down, if you want to add the print search criteria, you can check it off. And last but not least, you have ink saver. It says, if any, it will not print any images. So be mindful when you select that. If you do select it, always remember to go back and deselect it because you will think the system is broken when you don't see any images being printed out on your listing. So be mindful. So to print, you can either hit print right here or you can do print to PDF, either or. If you would like to email a PDF or a screenshot, just hit email PDF, and you can also hit preview to see what you're going to be printing or emailing, okay? Okay. All right, let's go back. Back to results, by the way. All righty. So now let's go over here where it says refined. So there's two ways to refine your results. You can either narrow or you can discard. If you narrow something, whatever you have selected, that's what you keep, and everything that's not selected will be deleted. Be careful when you're doing narrow, because if you do an auto email and you narrow the results, you will not receive, well, your client or you, whoever is the recipient, will not receive future listings that fit that same search criteria. They will only get listing updates in regards to the initial results that they received. Okay. Now, if you do discard, then it will not throw anything off. You can do that when you're doing auto emails. Discard basically is going to remove whatever you have selected, okay, and keep whatever is not selected. Okay, that's how that works. Now, if you're doing a manual or direct email, the sky's the limit. You can use narrow, discard, it doesn't matter. Sky's the limit, okay? So let me take this and I can do discard. When you discard, you have the option to bring it back by clicking undiscard. Pretty cool. All right, move on. Next, you have save. This is how you do the save searches and auto emails. So to do a save search or an auto email, you do not have to select any listings. Don't check anything off. Okay, do save. Bottom left-hand corner. Each category has a selection pool underneath. Do new save search. All right, via new saved search, all you have to do is put in information for the fields highlighted in yellow. If it's not highlighted in yellow, it's optional. But I always tell the realtors, if it makes sense, use it. For example, I have an option to associate or connect this with my client, this search, which is for the client, hypothetically speaking. Why wouldn't I want to take 30 seconds to associate it with the contact if it's for the contact? Okay, even though it's optional. So like I said, if it makes sense, use it. I'm gonna put test 1, 2, 3. I'll add Mr. Mission Impossible. If you need to create a contact on the spot and you don't want to go the manual way and stop doing what you're doing, which is basically my matrix contacts, you can create a contact for your client right on the spot. Simply click create a new contact right here. Add a first name, last name, email address, and save it. That's all you need. Okay? And it's going to automatically input that contact right here where it says contact. Also, both saved searches and auto emails can be made a favorite search on the home tab, on the home page widget titled My Favorite Searches. It's a 10 maximum collectively, okay? It's not 10 for saved searches, 10 for auto emails, it's 10 total, okay? If you want that, just check the box off right here. If not, leave it deselected. When you're done, hit save. Always look for your confirmation, and it says I have one already exists. Well, let me do 5, 6, 7, 8. How about that? All righty, back in business. So that's how you're doing a saved search. Now let's do the auto email. So once again, bottom left-hand corner, click save, new auto email. Now I have to add a contact because emails are involved, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'll do contact, I'll select Mr. Mission Impossible. All righty, then I'm gonna go to subject and I'll put test 1010, just make something up. So you have two greetings when you're doing an auto email for your clients. You have the welcome email, which is what they see with the initial results. And then you have a recurring email message, which is what they see for every other email they receive pertaining to the same search, okay? You can either leave it how it is, how it's worded, or you can change it. It's up to you. If you decide to change it, you can just omit everything out of there, type in what you want. And if you would like to keep that as a universal message for all of your auto emails, whether it's the welcome or the recurring email greeting, simply click this little widget or settings gear right here and click set current message as my default welcome email text. Also, you're going to see this little gear on multiple pages in Matrix. Whenever you see that, that pertains to saving something as a default so you don't have to input it every time you do whatever activity you're doing. So be mindful of that. Now, what I don't recommend is specifying a particular client's name in this if you're going to save it as a default. Because if you say, hey, greetings, Tom, and you save it as a default, now everyone you send an auto email to, you're going to greet them as Tom, and you may offend some people. So I wouldn't do that, okay? Just keep it universal. Just say greetings. or something along those lines. Recurring email, you put whatever you want in there. Then you go to the settings gear and you just set it as a default if you see fit. Scroll down. So you also have settings right here. Via settings, that's how you enable concierge mode. Concierge mode is an auto email feature which allows the sender, which will be you, the realtor, to have full control over what goes to the client via an auto email. Okay, you'll basically have to go to the approval page, and then you can either approve the listing or reject the listing however you see fit. You can send as many as you want. You can just say, hey, I only want to send this client 10 listings at a time because that's what they requested. And from that point on, when they contact me and ask for 10 more, I'll send 10 more. So you would do that via concierge mode. If you look below that, you'll see where it says show this contact and reverse prospecting results. I'll get more into that in Matrix 2 Part 2. We're not going to open up that can of worms right now. And also you have enable as a favorite search on home tab 10 maximum. This is how you make an auto email a favorite search on the home tab 10 maximum. 10 maximum is your cap. Just remember that. Okay. And that will be located on the home page. As soon as you log into Matrix, you'll see it. Also, if you chose not to go with concierge mode, you'll see a schedule option. Via the schedule option, you have as soon as possible, which I feel like everyone should be using in this crazy market. You also have daily. If you do daily, then you have to specify the day of the week, check it off, and also what time. Do you want AM, which is like 8 a.m., or PM, which is like 12 p.m. And if you don't really want to make any money, you can always do monthly. That's the easiest way to not make money, right? You can send your clients results for listing searches every month. So the only reason that's there is because most office admins or analysts, they'll use some type of search criteria setup for their little market reports or whatever they would do monthly. That's the only time people really use that. If you're trying to make money and you're a realtor, stay away from monthly, okay? But long story short, once you put all your information in via the auto email settings, you simply click save, okay? All right. Look at the confirmation. There it is right there. Perfect. So now let me show you all how you would go about turning off that auto email, deleting that auto email, or changing the criteria to an existing auto email. So what you would do in that regard is, okay, let's do it on this one. So hover over My Matrix, which basically stores all of your activity that you do in Matrix for the most part. And you would go to auto email. If it's a saved search that you would need to manage, go to save searches. I'm going to go to auto email. And when you go here, oh, this is a good time to show you this example. So you see down here at the bottom, this little red exclamation point with the red in the circle. That means that the auto email is disabled, okay? It can either be disabled by the client for them not viewing the listings within 30 days of you setting up the auto email. It could be from them marking you as spam, or it could be disabled by the agent, which is what I'm going to show you. You basically just check the box off to the left, and you can do the disable right here or delete. If you disable it, you can always bring it back. If you delete it, it's gone forever. Look above. You see this little circle that has the little green outline and it's blank in the inside. So that basically means you did everything right on your part. The auto email has been set up, but the client has not clicked the view listings link within the email to activate it. They have 30 days to do it. If not, it's going to disable itself like this down here. Okay. If you want to make any adjustments to the auto email, same thing for saved searches. I'll briefly run over that. So settings is what you would do if you need to change the actual recipient's information, add someone, change the title, change the welcome message, etc. Right? Let's go back. If you click on criteria, that's how you change the criteria to the existing search. Let's just say you want to pick up where you left off at and just make some adjustments. This is where you will go, type in whatever you need to change, and then hit save. It's that simple. Okay, and results is basically what you would do just to review the results. All right, and that's for an auto email. For a saved search, you would do My Matrix, save searches, and you would pretty much do the exact same thing. You can click on the title or the arrow to the left to view the settings information or the options. Click on settings to change the title, contact. If you want to make it a favorite or not make it a favorite, do it right there. Let's go back, criteria, results. Pretty simple, right? So I want to show you one more thing before we wrap this up. How to add listings to the cart. When I say the cart, it's just like when you're on Amazon.com. Let's just say you're looking for some products. You see one product you want, but you're not done shopping. So what do? You select that product, you add it to the cart, and you continue shopping. The exact same thing applies to when you're in Matrix. So let's just say you're looking for listings for time, but you see something Mary may be interested within the results of time search. So what do? You take those listings that you think Mary would like, you check the box off, then you come down to where it says carts at the bottom left-hand corner, click on carts. If you have a cart created for that contact already, it's going to be via the drop-down. You can have multiple carts for each contact, by the way. If not, you can click new cart. When you click new cart, simply give it a cart name. You can put whatever you want. Add a contact. It's optional, but I highly recommend you add one. If you need to create a contact on the spot, you can do so here and simply hit save. It's going to automatically add it. It's that simple. And from that point on, if you ever need to add more, it's going to be via the drop down. As you can see right here, you just hit add to cart and it will never add duplicates. Okay. Look what it says. Added 3 listings to Mission Impossible's Test 888 cart. And look what it says. 4 already are there. Okay. Perfect. Now, before we wrap this up, let me show you how to remove things from the cart. Hover over My Matrix, go to My Carts. Here you'll see all the different carts. If you ever want to change the name of the cart, click on the title of it or the arrow to the left, click settings, change the name here and hit save. This little number column is going to show you how many listings you have in that cart. You click the number to get to the actual cart for that individual one, for that contact. And then you'll see all the listings here. And from there, you check off whatever one you want to do whatever with. You can do all of them. You can view it, use it for accounts as a CMA, get driving directions, whatever you see fit. The sky's the limit. Okay. Now, when you want to remove it from the cart, you have to go within the cart first, check off the ones that you want to remove, click on carts again, and simply hit remove check. How to register for Matrix classes. The first thing you will need to do to register for a Matrix course is log into Matrix. Once you log into Matrix, you have 2 options. 1, click on links right here at the top of Matrix. Once you click on links, scroll down to the external links section and simply click Matrix training registration. From here, you'll see the column for the class. And for the class column, you'll see the title of each course. To the right of that, you'll see the date column for the date of the course. Following, you'll see the location column. And then last but not least, you'll see the registration link column, which is going to be where you would click Eventbrite. When you click on Eventbrite, it's going to redirect you to their website, and that's where you would actually register. Now, let's just say you can't make it to the class in time, or the class is 2 weeks in advance, and you need to know something now. We actually have Matrix video tutorials in Matrix where you can watch them right in Matrix. So all you would need to do is go to the top right. In your scenario, it's going to greet you. It's going to say hello. Then your name is going to follow. Click the little drop down, go to help. From there, look on the left-hand column at the top where it says Matrix Video Tutorials. Click the title. It's going to give you a drop down, and you can literally watch each video tutorial in Matrix. All you do is click on the title, press play, blow it up, watch it, close it out. You can watch another one. Okay. Also, if you want to reach out to us, our business hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Our contact number is 504-456-9903. You will see it at the top right of every page in Matrix. If you're more of the emailing type of person, you can email us at nomsupport@corelogic.com. That's nom, N-O-M, support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, at CORELOGIC.com. With that being said, have a great one, everyone.